The product status today, the GreenButton starter kit, the Java Spring, mentioned before, a virtual machine, which we've not yet mentioned, but this is the startup environment on the Ubuntu base, which allows developers to get a jump start on implementing. And finally, the documentation effort, which is just yet to be started. With that, I'll turn it over to Marty Burns to speak about the GreenButton SDK and the work that's happening along that line. Marty?
Okay, thanks, John. So basically, just to summarize that, we have a goal to provide a technical foundation for GreenButton, and that involves both support for implementations and testing and certification for the purposes of improving consistency of the data. And all of these activities are being overwatched by and coordinated with the Smart Grid Interoperability Panel, PAP20. And basically, GreenButton standardization is done at NASB, and as John mentioned, GreenButton testing and certification is being done in UCA-IUG, and GreenButton implementation support is being done in OpenESPI. So as you see, this is like a three-legged stool for interoperability. Okay, so in the overall flow of these activities, you start off with a top-down hierarchical breakdown of requirements from implementation agreements on the interpretation of the standard, testing requirements for the conformance blocks of the standard, software implementation, which I've highlighted here in green because that's being done here in OpenESPI, and finally an ITCA, which is a sort of like ISO 9000 concept for quality of testing and certification organizations. I'll summarize here how the testing and certification concepts are being broken down and how they're going to be supported in the SDK. So basically what you see here is that that application profiles, GreenButton download my data, GreenButton connect my data, describe uses of GreenButton. And within that, there are function blocks that detail subsets of the features. Like, is this about downloading a file? Okay, contents of a file. Does it include electricity data? Does it include gas data? And then the next level down are the requirements. So, you say you do gas data. Do you do gas data in an interoperable way? Do you identify the reading type properly, and so on? And then finally, the 10 test cases describe, for each test requirement, what is the test procedure to verify it. And as a component of this whole testing and certification regime, you'll see that we have implemented on greenbuttondata.org a self-test facility that is based on the test plan in development at UCA-IUG with tools that you'll find on the OpenESPI site under testing. You'll find the source code for what's available on this site. And what it does is it allows you to define the function blocks that your data wants to conform to, and then allows you to analyze the results and provide you with a summary of the performance against the tests. So we've had this exposed for a couple of months now, and we hope later this summer to finalize these tests so that they become, a building block for consistency in implementing the GreenButton test plan. An important thing about this is, this capability is based on what's being done in UCA-IUG, and the source code for implementing these tests, that's where the source code for this testing regime is. So there's an intimate relationship between the three legs of the stool, NASB, UCA, IUG, and OpenESPI, this is the place where software is created and maintained. UCAI-UG are where the test requirements are developed and the certification process will occur, and NASB is where the underlying standard is maintained. If you go to the NIST Wiki collaboration site, you will find this link that describes GreenButton data and the various elements of the SDK, which allow you to describe the anatomy of a GreenButton data file, the requirements. There's a GreenButton style sheet that shows how to parse the GreenButton data and provide a customer presentment. And that serves two roles. One is to provide a customer presentment, but it also tells you how to shows you how to parse a GreenButton data set. The GreenButton data set generator allows you to generate various and different compositions of GreenButton data based on a spreadsheet, and that also has two roles. It shows you how to generate the data. It allows you to generate the data, and because it's done in Visual Basic for applications, it gives you reference source code on how to synthesize the GreenButton data. And then finally, we have the greenbuttondata.org sample web presence. And there we provide status on GreenButton implementations and so on, but also a public test site for exposing these tools and these capabilities. So that's a quick run through on the SDK.